You know, one of my favorite things about this channel, yes, I am conceited, is that we're all pretty even-handed over here. I've given a fairly even split of praise and criticism over the years of all the people, except for Adam and Sage, they can fuck off. Now, I have lobbed a fair amount of criticism ShortFatOtaku's way, none of which is unwarranted. He says stupid things sometimes. However, in the spirit of fairness, I will praise when praise is merited. I wake up this morning with a Twitter message, Dev is getting cooked by Twitter shitlibs. Now, given that Twitter shitlibs are an ideologically possessed bunch of half-wits, that pretty much translates into Dev is saying something really based. So I check out the link, over 4.2 million views on the tweet. Damn, Dev walked in and kicked the hornet's nest square in the bollocks. Fantastic. Here's what kicked it all off, from Kale Conrad, whoever the hell that may be. Turf love and welcome violent men as long as the violence is directed at people they hate. Yeah, we actually have a whole group of them who together serve the purpose of defense. It's called an army, you stupid wanker. What weird world do these idiots live in? I swear Twitter needs to come with a shock collar or something. Someone in Goofson replying, sure, yet I bet you think the punch-in Nazi crowd is perfectly reasonable. With Conrad replying, Turf, stop defending Nazi challenge, failed yet again. It's like when teenagers try and do politics, isn't it? And this is where Dev comes in. I will 100% defend the Nazis' right to protest in the street, to engage in open discussion on contentious topics, and protect him from your violence should you throw the first punch. If you attack anyone, even a Nazi, by throwing the first punch, you are worse than them. And all hell begins to break loose. But Dev, undeterred, doubles down. Update, I have thought long and hard about this take and I now realize that I was mistaken about absolutely nothing. Not only that, communists are just as bad as Nazis morally and materially. Cope and seethe about it, retards. Oh, and speaking of that, let's highlight some of them, shall we? If you attack anyone, even a Nazi, by throwing the first punch, you are worse than them. LMFAO, they're Nazis, hon. They threw the first punch when they chose bigotry. That says a lot about their mindset, actually. After this, script says the phrase ableist, which is one of the dumbest words you will find these days. Dev swinging in. Christ, you have no argument beyond moral posturing. You're a racist, you're a bigot, you're an ableist, you're a I don't care about your moral condemnation of me because your morality is fucked up at the core. When someone's belief intend harm or supremacy over other, you're not obligated to defend them. That's interesting, so when you try and impose pronouns on me via the power of the state, that's you asserting supremacy of dialogue over me, therefore I am not obligated to defend you. I can get behind that, actually. Bitch, you just turned 18, did you even try to be normal before resorting to trans-communist? Trans-femme, forest fairy, OnlyFans, free Palestine. You know, for once, I have no words. You can sort of see where this goes. I'll link the thread down below. Can scroll through and see Dev clowning an arsenal of morons. It's hilarious. Now, whether or not Dev agrees with any of this or what he says, I couldn't give a right bollock. I'm here for the funnies. But can we just be honest about one thing? Communist and Nazis are two of the most useless phrases of the present-day regime. Can we just admit that? They mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. When you say communist, do you picture some Chad Russian like the old Soviet posters? Tall, bearded, barrel-chested factory worker? No. You picture some emaciated whack job looking like they shagged a car wash whose soap is made of melted Skittles. They're not workers. They're some spoiled middle-class toff. And a Nazi is anyone who looks at that and concludes, that's cringe and gay. That's it. No more than that. Can you imagine if you brought back some hardened communists and Nazis from the 20th century and you showed them the state of Western politics in America today? Showed them academia, the protests outside of universities, that Queers for Palestine banner. Same with the Nazis. Imagine hearing Nazism is on the news in America and they found out the present-day version wants capitalism, free speech, guns are to be left the hell alone. Oh, so America's founding principles are now Nazi-esque, is it? They would be horribly confused. But with all of that being said, that entire thread shows why free speech is an absurd ideal that simply doesn't work. Look at the people who oppose what they think is the far right. They don't care about the opposition, let alone free speech. By virtue of self-declared moral superiority, they alone may deem the opposition persona non grata, and therefore any action against them is justified because the opposition are irredeemable bigots. The whole point of free speech, well supposedly anyway, is to resolve differences amicably without recourse to violence. They think that in and of itself is immoral, hence why they resort to labeling and to the violence. Leftism is an ideology that is fundamentally incompatible with anything else. Their equality is totalitarian. You can't have equality and free speech because the equality is imposed. Once someone says, I don't like equality, the enforcer of equality has to silence that person, because if that person can espouse anti-equality rhetoric, they are by definition of the action bucking equality. You can have some speech and unequal freedom, or no speech and equally incapable of speaking. Those are your only options. The fact of the matter is, having free speech for everyone, allowing everything to be criticized, means nothing in your society is held sacred, and therefore you have no standards. A regime is not secure if everyone can speak. You have the idealism of free speech, which leads to the reality of exploited vulnerabilities. Welcome to the ugly truth of power. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.